Membez, I believe. No. We're on the Mem Alpha base. Mem Masayu Chayiv, Halacha base. Mem Masayu Chayiv, and when is he liable? Ben Sor Moreh. Mishogel Tatim or Basar, once he eat this measure. Meat, fish, Tachatzi, Log Yaina, Beitalki. And drink a half a log measure of wine in the Italian measure. Rabbi Yossi Mana, actually I think it's Italian wine. Sorry, Italian wine. Rabbi Bartanura. Rabbi Yossi Mana Basar.
I never understood that requirement. Minoraisa, it has to be an Italian wine?
It has to be Meshubach. It has to be the Meshubach. Okay. Rabbi Yossi Mana Basar V'log Yain. This is double the amount. Achal b'chaburas mitzvah, if he ate it as part of a mitzvah. Achal b'yibur chodesh, if he ate it by his ksuras chodesh. Achal ma'is Hashem Yerushalmi, if he ate ma'is Hashem Yerushalmi. Achal leveilus Hashem shkatzim mosim. You ate these disgusting things, but which are not kosher. Achal davar shu mitzvah, but davar shu aver. He ate anything which is mitzvah and anything which is averity. Achal kol machol, if he ate any foodstuff, achal basar, but he didn't meat. Shas achal mashke, drank any beverage. Achal sam, but didn't drink any wine. It not bar ben samar. It's not considered ben samar. Achal basar vishtayai until he eats meat and drinks wine. Shemar says zolel v'savei. Zolel v'savei means fressing and guzzling. Right, meat and wine. While beaching Raila Davar, even though there's no explicit etymological derivation of that, there's a Zechel Davar, there's an allusion to that elsewhere in Tanakh, Alti B'Sovei Yain, do not be by those who make themselves drunk by wine, B'Zolei Basalam are those who fress meat for themselves. Rabbi Yossi said Tartimer is a Chatzi Liter. Rabbi Yossi said a Tartimer is a half a liter because Tanakama is the exact same, is half of the measures of Rabbi Yossi in the Mishnah. Period. He only is only liable if he eats it partially baked or partially roasted, which is like a ganav eats it. How so? If he eats it raw, kelavu, he's a dog. It's not a man. It's not a ben saramor. Can't be a man saramor. If he eats it, if he eats it fully cooked, barnashu is a civilized individual, and civilized individuals don't become ben saramor. It has to be the eats it derech geneva. Sukim, right? Rare, okay. Very un-Jewish, right? It's rare. Okay. Sukim. If he ate the cartilages, Mao, what's the story? Is that considered meat or not? Gitim arakim, soft sinews, what's is that meat or not? Rabbi Yochanan says vis-a-vis Korban Pesach, they can be somebody's kazayis and Korban Pesach can be made up of these soft sinews and of this cartilage. Rabbi Shimon Lakish says that the cankel is a part of Korban Pesach vis-a-vis the kazayis of being Korban Pesach. Rabbi Yaakov, Rabbi Yisrael said it's about Rabbi Yerushalmi Lakish. We find a similar machlokas Rabbi Yerushalmi Lakish, but it seems to contradict this one. The thing that we learned over there, Elu Shor saying kibsarin. These are the animals whose flesh is like, whose hide is like their flesh. So on that, Rabbi Yochanan said, or is that lo shano el iser ulatuma? This hide, which is said is like flesh, is only vis-a-vis the prohibition of eating and vis-a-vis the tuma involved in eating it. Well, coast low, but there's no flogging involved because it's not true meat. Rebbe says an explicit Mishnah by Rebbe, ben iser ben latuma. It should be also ben lilkos. It's also in terms of iser and tuma and malchus. All this hide of these animals enumerated there is like flesh. So Mechava she thought it should be Rabbi Yochanan. It said there's a contradiction of Rabbi Yochanan. Tamru avila basa. There, but he by the Korban Pesach, he says that the sinews and cartilage are considered, the soft sinews and cartilage are considered to be flesh, right? But he doesn't make the hide like flesh. What's the difference? It says Shani Tamon there, it's different by the hide shoe or Vesofal actual, since it's leather and it's going to become tough. So therefore, since eventually it's going to become tough, it never has the status of flesh even when it's still soft, as opposed to the stuff which is never going to become tough, like cartilage and soft sinew, that it can be considered to be full meat. Okay? So Koch came Mechavashi Tasser Rishon Lakish. There's only a contradiction in Rishon Lakish. Mata Mancha Sofal Akshos. if there by the hide, where eventually it's going to become tough, whoever labasir makes the hide considered like meat. Here where the cartilage and soft tissues are still not going to become tough ever, koshke still should be considered to be part and parcel of the flesh. So Rava said, you know what can I do? Time of the Rabbi Shimon Loki should read logic. Rabbi Shimon Loki is not necessarily based on logic. It's based on apostle. It says eat the meat. That means the lokidim, not the cartilage. So he learns the cartilage is not part and parcel of the legitimate portion of carbon pesach, but you can get flogged for it if you eat it. You just can't be yotze carbon pesach with it. Okay? Says more further. Achal b'chaburos mitzvah. If you ate as part and parcel of a chabur which is doing mitzvah, achal b'chodesh you ate as part and parcel of a leap month, the termination of leap month. Achal ma'aseh shem Yerushalmi ma'aseh Yerushalmi. That's all called for a mishnah. Now we say why they let you talk? So his parents should afflict him. He doesn't listen to their voice. Yotzaza top of and based on as opposed to this individual, this lad who shomea b'kol aviv shemaim, he's listening not to his father in earth, but he's listening to his father who art in heaven, and that's why he is eating this stuff, it's stolen, but it's the kind of bar mitzvah, so that's considered to be, even though the mitzvah may not be yotzi because mitzvah ba'avera, but it's enough to take away the stigma of not listening to anybody, because here he's listening at least to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? Even though his parents not listening, he's listening to HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
That's an unusual expression. I don't recall seeing that before.
Aviv Shemaim?
Yeah.
I don't remember it either. It's a good question.
It sounds like the Lord's Prayer, Mahafil. Isn't that what it sounds?
Yeah. Well, we have a Vilna Makenim, we have a,
Yeah, but not, I'll be all right.
It's in the prayer for the state of Israel.
That's also an unusual prayer. I don't hear that too often.
Okay. All right, Yochanan. Yochanan said, you don't know it by heart?
I know the beginning, but
okay.
I don't hear it too often in most shuls I found.
Don't know it by heart? Okay. I'm Rabbi Yochanan. I know it by heart. Okay. I'm Rabbi Yochanan. Is kirchel bully, this is something which you had elsewhere, I don't know exactly where it comes up here, but if if they want to make you one of the town councilors, hey, this is let the Jordan River be your neighbor. In other words, get out of the country. It's not good to join the Tveria town council, obviously. You can complain to the government, to the mayoralty, the pater mibuli, to get out of the being one of these town councilors. Rabbi Yochanan says, loving b'chaburas mitzvah, loving b'ribis chaburas mitzvah, and borrow money at interest in order to make up this group to which it's out to a mitzvah, so to make a siyum, and in order to consecrate the new moon. Rabbi Yochanan would go into the Beis Medrash in the morning, and he would gather the crumbs left on the floor after there had been a Sudas Rosh Chodesh the night before, and he would eat them. He said, let my portion be with those from Mekadesh, the Rosh Chodesh, yesterday here at night. So actually this might be one of the earliest sources for Shirayim. Right? He's going into that room and he's gathering the crumbs off the floor. Okay? Says more further, so why is he exempt in that case? Because Yisuro so means his parents afflict him. He doesn't listen to them. As opposed to this individual, doesn't listen to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so therefore you can't make him the Ben Saramar. He's just a regular criminal. Okay?
When we used to say the drasha, or something.
What's next? Coming up.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Kodim Bishul Aviv. If he's next part. Kodim Bishul Aviv. If he's told by his father, Bachal Bishul Aviv, and ate in his father's domain, or Mishachem is stole from others, Bachal Bishul Chem, and ate in the other's domain. But Mishachem is still some other people, Bachal Bishul Aviv, and he eats in his father's domain. Eino Chai, Eino Nas Ben Sarmor, doesn't come Ben Sarmor, Ad Shignam Shalaviv, until he steals from his father, Yochel B'Shusachim, and eats in somebody else's domain. Rabbi Yosef Ridomer, Ad Shignam Shalaviv, Mishal Imo, he's got to steal from both his father and mother. I was talking to Rishon that the Ben Sarmor gets punished for the first theft. Minayim, how do we know? So the Or Sameach switches around two lines here. Should be lo signovu, the pasuk in Vayikra, which is talking about the generic prohibition of stealing. That includes kidnapping. All right. As far as the gneva shniya minayim, how we know that you need a second warning when you see him steal again. So that because it says lo signo, this should be lo signo. Now refers to lo signo of aser sadibros, because you know the things in the context of aser sadibros are meant to be capital crimes, right? So therefore, it includes a classic case, which includes the case of a kidnap, which is a classical crime, is a capital crime. But here we're including also the Ben Sarmor on the second warning, because in the second warning he's susceptible to getting the death penalty. Okay, once he's stolen once and eaten once, and the second time he gets put to death. Okay. Now we learn once on topic. We go what's the word? Tangent. Thank you. Lo signovu, when it says do not steal in kadoshim, it's going almanas, which is expression actually. Almanas make it even in order to cause anguish. In other words, don't steal even if you intend to give back, but you have some ulterior motive for stealing. Lo signov, almanas shrine, don't steal even with the intent to pay back. To pay back, not only that, not to pay back tashlumi kefel. To pay back double, or to steal, to pay back 4 or 5 times. Not only that, but you shouldn't steal your own stuff. From somebody else who stole from you. In other words, you shouldn't steal back what was stolen from you. Why? Because you shouldn't look like you're a thief. So you steal back from people, could be you're stealing back, but other people don't know you're stealing back, so it looks like you're thieving yourself. Right? That's no good. Okay? Says Umara, Ben Bagba Gomer. The Bible says, O Signova Shokho, I just said. Rabbi Yibov and Rabbi Yosha said, Eno Chayav Achigla Mos. You're only allowed to steal money. Rabbi Yosha said, Eno Chayav Achigla Zalza Mos. He said, you only chayav if you make light of money. What does it mean, make light of money? So he says here, what do we tell you about when he says that he makes a mockery of the money? If he says to the counterman, he has $5, give me 3, which are worth, I guess, $3, then Shatu, he's an idiot, because he could have gotten 5. Because he paid $5. It's only in 3 portions. So he's an idiot. He says, here's $3. But give me 5 of these things. Barnashu, he's a good person. He's a smart person. So if that's the case, El Kiran Kayamim, what's the case where a person is considered to be a mezalzel money? So we're talking about a case like this. Behuda Amar Damar Hol Chamisha. It's a guy who says, here's $5, Fa'avli Chamisha, and give me $5 of merchandise, even though he could have gotten for less. That's basically what it boils down to. With somebody who is mezalzel, somebody who could have gotten, he pays $5 for that which is worth $5. Might be worth a little bit less than $5, but he pays it in order to get the stuff, even though he's not really thinking properly. So if you would pay, if it's stuff for which you would pay $5, he only needs $3 worth of meat in order to. It's hot in here for me. You're still very cold?
No, I'm not. It's because the fan turned up.
The fan turned
It's cool outside.
It's cool outside. Not cool enough for me. I'm still exhausted. Here you have You have something which is worth $3, and he pays $3, and that's what he needs, and he's off the hook. Something which is worth $5, and he pays $3. He's a sharp businessman, even though he doesn't need the $5 thing, but he's a shrewd businessman. He sees it for sale. He's going to get it. If he sees something worth $3 and he pays $5 for it, it's not a shaita. You can't convince her more, right? It's a shaita. The case that you can convince her more is he sees something worth $5, but he doesn't need the whole $5 of it. But he'd rather have it in order just to be done with and fulfill his taiva, and therefore he's willing to pay the $5, even though it's only worth what he's going to eat $3. That's a ben sormor. He's zolel money. He's derisive of the money which he's using. Okay? Got that? Okay. So again, 5 for 5 is okay. No, sorry. 5 for 3 is okay. 3 for 5 is an idiot anyway. The question is 3 for 3 for sure okay. The question is 5 for 5. That's the question. That's the case we could be a ben samara. Okay. Says Amora. Haitino ganav, haitino gazlan. What's the topic? Off topic. What's a ganav and what's a gazlan? I'm Rabbi Hila. They said ganav is bifnei edim. It's only in front of witnesses, but not in front of anybody else. Obviously, want to be mechayim, so it's got to be in front of witnesses, right? So ganav bifnei edim ganav. If a person steals in front of witnesses, he is a ganav. But he's ganav bifnei abaylim. If he goes in broad daylight and robs the waif, the bailim, the owner, then he's a gazlan. Okay? So if it's only in front of Eidim, then he's a ganav. If it's also in front of the bailim, that makes him a gazlan. Rabbi asked me, out of this case, I feel in this guy being l'gozla, l'gzela, even if he had in mind to steal. And he had in mind to steal in front of the master, ain't a goslan, he's not considered to be a gazlan. Yeah, I forgot why not.
What a gazlan is if he goes in the nighttime or in the basement.
That's a ganav.
That's a ganav? That's
yeah.
Terrace, you know, was a ganav?
Yeah.
So how could it be in front of Aiden?
What?
We just said a ganav is in front of Aiden. Well, if he's at the Mach Terrace, there's no Aiden.
Sure, there Aiden. So you go on the Mach Terrace.
But it's in the middle. Isn't he going in the middle of the night?
So they can't kill him unless they see him. They'll see him inside. They'll see him trapped inside. They'll see him. 1 second. Brazir boy, Brazir asks like this. 4 lines from the bottom. Miata, that's case of Felix Carbon, the Xela. Ubalea, even in mind to steal. And he had in mind to do it in front of the victim. Ain't a gazlan. He's not a gazlan. Beidino gazlan. What would be a gazlan? Al daited Rabbi Zir, Rabbi Shmuel Bar Suta, B'Shem Rabbi Avo. I choose any if Neasar B'nei Adam. You only consider to be a gazlan if you go steal in front of 10 people, right? You make a armed robbery in front of 10 people. That makes you into a gazlan. No less than that.
So now, what's the distinction between ganav and gazlan?
A ganav is anything less than 10 witnesses.
Okay.
A gazlan is 10 or more witnesses. Which is not like we learned in the Chumash. We learned in the Chumash Rashi that a ganav is, like you said, in secret, and gazlan is in public. But he's defining, it could be he's just defining public for you. A public is 10. I don't know exactly what he's doing. That's his own 10. Okay? So, Vaidino God, let's keep going. Binav Shabbakulam, how many Xelas be public? Because what's the major archetype or case? Binav Shabbakulam, the major case is Vayigzos L'Chodesh Yana Mitzi Vayargeu B'Chaniso. Where he is in front of a large crowd of people, that he stole the spear. One of David's generals stole the spear from the Egyptian, and he killed him with his the sword or whatever it was. So So we see here, be that as it may, that Gezela is taking something away from the owner with great force. Okay? That's what you see from this pasuk. Is that clear?
Yeah.
I know great force is the right word, but in public. That's what I meant to say, in public. Okay? Says more for the lockdown. Aviv Rotza, his father wanted to kill him. The Imo Ina Rotza, his mother doesn't want to kill him. Or Imo Rotza, his mother wants to kill him. Aviv Ina Rotza, his father doesn't want to kill him. Ino Nasa ben Tomar doesn't come ben Tomar Ad Yush Nehem Rotzim until they both want. Rabbi Huda, Rita Meribud says in Lloyd, so Imo Ruil Aviv. If his mother is not suitable for his father, that means aesthetically, that they don't have similar features. So, Einon Nasa Ben Samar, he doesn't become Ben Samar. They have to actually have similar features in order for Ben Samar to be killed according to Abiuda, which is a shocking concept, but that's what he says. But the Baal, I think, brings down a drasha that they both speak together, so therefore they both say the same thing, something like that, but the Yerushalmi doesn't mean that. Says Gidem, if one of the parents was an amputee, chiger or limbed, elim or
I
skipped the Gemara. Oops, sorry. Totally get ahead that way. All right, I feel any more real aviv. Even if his mother is not suitable for his father in terms of yichus, still can review it as long as they're compatible in the way they look. That's sufficient yuchai because of ben Sormora. No, it's not to be, let's say, a Kohen married a grusha. Their child could still be a ben Sormora review as long as they look similar. With parents, because then I guess they should be on the same page in terms of raising them.
In total agreement, not only in
right, but it does have to be actually legitimate marriage. See, the parents doesn't have to be legitimate. That's what Rabbi Yochanan is saying.
Oh.
Okay? And there's still been some more. Ask some more now, technical question. When it says he's stealing from each one, how does his mother have anything? We can explain. But who the harvest nasfa the urine, or the urine, Father Shora V'Garamino. Now the way the Ephraim brings it down, if you look at the bottom, he says what this means is that the word diurin should be the Roman diurnum, which is like the English per diem. So she has a certain allowance. So she gets a certain allowance. If he steals from an allowance, so that's stealing from her. Okay? So that's how he learns it. So you see, even he brings down the Roman word, the Latin word down there in the footnote. So there's another shot, but I forgot what it was. He brings down all right, that's the best shot. In any event, the Shire Torah brings down another shot. Besides the 7% of Gilin Ephraim. So the way he changed gears is with where a case where a man gave his wife money in order it should be to make not shoro but avda shirin, or to make necklaces. So that's her money because it's going to her jewelry. So I shouldn't actually, I think it's bracelets. So then therefore in that case he can steal from his mother, who has her own independent source of a bank account for that case. Okay? Basically, those are trying to bring down cases where you're stealing from a mother, and we say that it's not actually all owned by the father. So therefore, the mother would have separate dominions. So one of those is where she gets a per diem, and the other is a case where she got money for jewelry allocated to her already. So those are cases where she has her own money, and where the Ben Sarmar can steal from her.
Did you say that she brought that in as property she owned before she got married?
Yeah, but then usually the husband takes it over as well. Usually something which the husband gets. Okay? So that's, we still would have to come up with this idea of how the husband didn't acquire this new thing below the states on bonds and what it is. Okay. He says the Mishnah further. If one of the parents was a amputee or chiga or lame or elame or dumb or sum or blind or cheresh or mute, ve'eno nasa ben samar. He can't become ben samar. Remember it says v'tafsubo. They grab him below giduma. They don't grab his stumps. Otzil, they take him out. Lo chigrim. They don't take out people who can't walk or lame. Ramulo, they have to say to him, no, Ramru, they say, lo ilmin. It means that can't be people who are mute. Benenu say our son, lo sumin. They have to be able to point him, so can't be blind. And Eroshram he doesn't listen to what we have to say. Below Chershim, excludes deaf mutes. Matzma of Shlosha, they warn him from 3 Malkin or so, and they give him Malchus Chazer Kilkel if he goes bad again. Yidam Besrim Shlosha. In Church of 23, he may well be put to death. Beino Niskal is still not stoned. That Yerushalmi Shlosha Rishonim, unless the 3 ritual justices are part of the 23 new justices. Shemet says, Benenu Zeh, our son over here. Zeu shalaka vivnechem, that's the one who's afflicted in front of you. Okay? Kishem sha'atoresh avi bavi vimo kacha der ziknei besin. Just like you say the Joshua by its father and mother, so to the same Joshua by Basin. By whose candidate to be in Basin? Shneimar says, v'yotzu, private chaygrim, that Basin has to go out and go out. Excludes lame people. Brahman that to say, probably that excludes mute people. Our hands are not spilled, probably given that excludes people who have only stumps. Nenu lo ro aras and not see probably that excludes blind people. Magid constitutions kishen shebesim b'shleim v'tzedek, just like basin is complete in its justice. Kach etzichum yoshleim bevrem, so to that they're complete in their limbs. Rabbi Yochanan said, Meisachim b'shonim eno niskal. If one of the first set of 3 judges was died, then the condemned does not hang, or not get. It's actually the same thing. He doesn't get stoned, nor does he get hanged. Below Maslisus and Ramisha Eno Niskal Chusham Shlosha Rishonim, that is not stoned until the 3 original justices are there. So Rabbi Yosef said Din Sheni Rishon. You might say that you cancel the first case altogether, the first settlement, right? And this becomes the first settlement instead. Okay, it should be Maimai that's to tell you, Rabbi Yochanan to tell you what he meant to say. Rabbi Yochanan holds that if one of the original set is killed, you don't go on with it. So what's it going to tell us? Yeah, it's an interesting thing. The Rabbi Elad says if one of the first guys died, one of the first judges, they can't replace him in the second court, and the guy is exempt. So, and so it's partial because it has to be that the same 3 guys are there at the end, which are there at the beginning. So he says, the Chiddush goes even further. The Chiddush goes that you can't consider this the first case. Meaning you might say the second case counts as first case once you cancel the first case because those judges are no longer around. All right, so at least say the second case now becomes the first case. Can't even do that.
So it's off on a technicality.
He's off on a technicality, that's right. It's off on a technicality. Can't consider saying so the word Sameachas, why not? Consider the second case to be his first case because even though it was warned you might put to death, so Musa Davra Chomer is Musa Davra Kal. You warned for a more severe thing. By default, you are warned for a less severe thing as well because B'chla Masai Mon, it's included in the transaction, right? So there are some has the question. He says very interestingly. He said, in this case it's different. In this case, the kid might think, well, my parents will give me up when it means just by doing prison time or having to pay a fine, right? But they're not going to give him up when They're not giving up. They're not giving up to the authorities if he's facing the death sentence. Right? They'll hide him or they'll do something with him. They're not giving him to the authorities. So therefore, he had smichus das. He was sure that he won't be put to death. He didn't have smichus das, though, that he's not going to be flogged within an inch of death, and he may well be a problem. So therefore, you can't say here Musar Davra Chomer is Musar Davra Kal, because the Davra Chomer might not transpire. Yeah, I said it badly. Let me stand up and I'll say it right. Case is like this. Case is...
Why are you reading the Sunnah?
What? Let's make a simple question on the Gemara.
Yeah.
The Gemara's question like this. The Gemara says you can't consider the second case, the case which would be capital, to be the first case, and lower it down to a malchus case, to a flogging case. Why is that? As to a smech. Anytime you have a case which could be judged on the higher penalty, you can dumb it down to the lower penalty. So why could you do that here, right? Musa Davra Chomer have a Musa Davra Kal. You should be able to lower it. So the Yerushalmi, so the Mor Sameach says, no, but here it's different, because he says, the reason why Musa Davra Chomer is Musa Davra Kal is because he knows he's going to get zapped. So he's willing to accept the lesser zapping because it's a better zapping for him. He knows he's going to get zapped. Here, Punk Fakir, here, the guys, the Ben Samora, the first case, the first aver is, well, he's commit, so he knows there that he's going to actually get malchus if he's caught, because he knows his parents will flog him. But on the contrary, the second time around, he doesn't believe his parents are actually going to bring him to the basin and let him die. That's something which is beyond his scope to perceive. So therefore, in that case, since that's something which is beyond his scope to perceive, so therefore in that case, Musar Davra Achara will not be Musar Davra Achara, because he doesn't believe that the penalty which is being pronounced is even a valid penalty. So he doesn't look at this Hasra as being serious. So therefore you can't say that this is the first Hasra. Again, the second Hasra, which is given for death, cannot be defaulted down to just a plain lav type of Hasra, because a plain type of lav Hasra he really accepts because he assumes it's going to happen. But a Hasra which comes on the basis of a death penalty, he assumes not going to happen. Maybe that's why he accepted it. I don't know if I explained any better this time.
So you're saying there's a fault in his acceptance of the Hasra.
Right.
So regardless of whether the original three judges are in the basin of 23 or not.
No, because then he knows he's up for the second higher, more severe charge. And he knows that they're for real about this. So that's why the reality has to set in. It only sets in if there's somebody else there from the first court. Otherwise, and then we continue on to the second case. But if it looks at all like he's starting from scratch, then we say, yeah, well, Malchus he accepted upon himself, perhaps, so he's not going to accept upon himself to go from Misa to Malchus.
People that want capital punishment in America versus the ones that want to abolish it, because they're saying that if there's no capital punishment, there's no deterrent for committing a crime that.
Only because it's his parents are going to prosecute him. Bear in mind, he didn't steal from anybody else, so therefore he's only afraid of them. It's a capital crime. Okay? Says Allah Chavav. If the child, the Ben Sarmar fled before they completed his court case, and before they brought him back, he became beyond 13 and a half, so he was moved beyond the limit of Ben Sarmora, so Potter is exempt. Whoever once his judgment was completed, he fled, and then his lower beard was completed around the organ. So then Chayav Desire, because the death sentence was pronounced at the right time. Says Marm Rabbi Yeshua, said Tzach Lizira Mishu Manchu Shalayim. zero from the Bilu Yerushalmi are the following. Shloshin, there are three she'im bikshu limchol, if they decide they want to be moichel, and they're allowed to be moichel. Beilan is a saita, the husband is saita, of course, so Ben Sora Mora, and the wayward son, Vizakin Mamre, and a rebellious elder, Alpi Basin, who rebels against Basin. Sota, what's the chiddush? V'lo masnisa using not a price. Shepala eino right to lashkois. Her husband doesn't want to drink, make her drink. She doesn't have to drink. So her mother said, no, perhaps actual nichtava Megillah. Right, that may be true before the Megillah for the Sota is written. Asamim, that says to come and tell us why. Even once the Megillah is written already, that they can renege. V'shalonim chokam Megillah. Right?
You can renege after it's written?
Excuse me?
You can renege after it's written?
Yeah, that's what it's saying here. Yeah. What?
I just thought it was the other way that you read.
No, you're right. This Gemara holds differently.
Oh.
This Gemara holds even after it's written. There's also a way the Megillah is not erased. But if the Megillah was already erased, lo b'da. If in that case we do not let him off the hook. Okay. Says the Gemara, Ben Sora More is not our Mishnah that it never existed. Aviv wrote to be Moena wrote to. Svar wanted and his mother didn't want. Put him to death. Ima wrote his mother wanted, or Bena wrote his father does not want. Sorry, remember they said actual Bedin. We might have said that that's only before they sit in judgment. Afilu Amad Bedin, Afilu Amad Bedin, B'Shalom Nigmardino. That it's only. No, I lost my train of thought. Just a second, let me go back to the lines. Ben More, you can be moichel. Lamasisi is our Mishnah. Basically, our Mishnah tells you can be moichel. Says Haya Avi wrote, Vimena wrote. If one of the parents wanted and not the other, Imo wrote, Vimena wrote. So remember, we said Achla Amav Bedin. What this means. Yeah, it's all one long run-on sentence. Simon they thought to say Achlo Amad Bedin, Asal Meimar L'cha, or Fil Amad Bedin.
Isn't that first part of the statement going on with the prior Gemara?
What?
So remember that the first part, Haya Aviv wrote Imo Aina wrote so remember Achlo Amad Bedin. That this case applies to where there wasn't a Gemara.
Thank you. Okay, you got it. Thank you. It's going to tell us, in other words, why does Rabbi Yeshua name Rabbi Zia have to tell us that there are three cases in which you can be moichel? Choramesh says to be moichel. It says his father wants it and the mother doesn't want it, the mother wants it, the father doesn't want it, etc., right? So the other side is obviously moichel, right? So he says that, yeah, that's how you would know from the Mishnah. The chiddush of the Brisa is, or the statement of Rabbi Yosha to be more correct, is that again, Rabban and Sarvi, remember they wanted to say that they only change until the court until the court case comes along. As it's going to tell us, even once the court case began, they could still renege. As long as the judge is not pronounced. Once the judge is pronounced, they obviously can't renege at that point. When can they renege with him? When can they be moichel him? The Tamar shall low go. They moichel him not to kill him on top of him, give him an alf. Zero low, but they can't put it back to his previous position of stature as a chacham. Ukshabas the Yitzhar Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseir Netzifin, when they came to Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseir by Netzifin to visit him, Al Shnai Moedli, he considered me on 2 points, while Echad Lo Hodoli. And at one point, he didn't concede to me. In other words, he conceded on Soita the Mechila Shaykh. It also been Sor Morish Mechila Shaykh, but not by this case of Zoki Mami, right? Zoki Mami, he says you can't be Moichelim. Why? Shalo, K'dei Shalo Yarbu Machlokas B'Yisrael. There shouldn't be so much Machlokas Tam B'Yisrael. Matan the Beis Shammai. What's Beis Shammai? Now Beis Shammai is not actually in our Gemara.
It's a classic difference between the cases, the other two cases in Zaki Mamre. Zaki Mamre has to be the best, and has to be the best, and it has to be local.
They would have to be local. That's right.
Institution. That's why it's almost.
The first two are
But they shouldn't relinquish
crimes, and this is a public crime.
Right, public crime. It's hard to be local there.
Okay, maybe that's all what the Gemara means to say.
Who would be the one to model?
The Sanhedrin. Sanhedrin have to do it. Maybe that's what the Gemara means to say. Well, then the Gemara tries to include. Okay, Matan the Beis Shammai. What's the logic of Beis Shammai? Now, Beis Shammai is not put down in our Gemara. The Bnei Moshe brings it down. And it's it says there that if their husbands die of the sotos before they drink, Beis Shammai says they get the ksuva, they gain, because their husband died prior to them drinking. They get the ksuva and don't drink. Beis Hillel says, you know what, you're right, you don't drink, but they don't get the ksuva either, because their husbands died in the state of being forbidden to the wives, so there is no ksuva. Okay? So it says, Mamata and Beis Shammai, what's the logic of Beis Shammai? That if he dropped dead, then she still gets the property. So it says, what did she say? Havali Baili, give me husband, Vani Shoyse, and I'll drink. Right? I'll drink my soita water. So now my fault that he died. So give me whatever. You can't. In other words, she's only suffix meritorious in the ksuva, and therefore she can't collect from the ksuva. Says more time and even looked over there. Apogam is ksuva. Somebody who claims her ksuva was only partially paid, but it was partially paid. So then, loti par el b'shua. She can only collect money based on assistance of a shua. Time to learn apogames. There's only talking about a girl who claimed that part of ksuva was already she already got paid, but not by a bocheses. Lo bocheses. What's a bocheses? Ketzar. Hoisa ksuva hosa masayim. Ksuva is 200. Viomeris, and she says money was only 100. The frash lo b'shvua. So in that case, she could collect from the husband's estate without a shvua. Why is that? Why can she collect without a shvua? What?
If she thinks part of it, she said she got part of it.
Right. Yeah, but it's moment it says in reverse, right?
Yeah,
It's the person who's the claimant relinquishing half their claim. Right? So it's the opposite. One of the Torah is where the defendant admits to half the claim. So there's the other half the claim. Here the litigant relinquishes half of his claim. So therefore it's believed you don't have a shvur. Okay? Because no nut would do that unless it's true. Right? So in any event, we don't care about the nuts. So it says Marvin Vogemis Marvin Vogemis is what's interesting. A woman who says part of it was paid, and the other one who says that it was worth less. Says more Pogemis if she claims that she was paid part of it. There was business dealings in the interim, but they'll know something about it. People around, right? Pochetzes if she just said the sum was incorrect. There's no people around, therefore there's no proper testimony. Like it said over there, if one witness testifies that the document has been discharged, So then, if the guy still wants to collect, he needs to take a shvuah. Kavasa similarly. If one witness testifies that it's broken, lo tipaches ela b'shvuah. Yeah, it seems that the Rabbi Yirmiyah is asking a question. Find a brisa the other way. I'm going back a couple lines. By a little bit, it's a mishpat now. But like it says over there, one witness testifies that it's fully paid up. Nevertheless, you can collect with a shvuah. Well, it's not nevertheless. If only one witness, a witness testifies on behalf of the prosecution, right? So, I lost my train of thought. Just a second. Let me start from Rabbi Yirmiyah again because I'm lost. Rabbi Yirmiyah asks, Kamada Teimar Tamar, just like you say over there, Ve'edechon Me'ida Shiprua. One witness testifies that the document has been fully discharged. So now, that really puts the collector, meaning the woman, at a disadvantage, right? So if she wants to collect, she's got to take a shvuah. There's one witness testifying that's already paid back, right? The Kavasah Sotu Ve'edacham Me'ida Shibchusa, the one witness testifies that the obligation was less, so maybe she wants to dispute that, she has to say a shvuah. He says, when one witness testifies that it's paid up, he's not denying two witnesses. He's not denying two witnesses on the shah. He's saying, so it's paid up. It ended up in the wrong hands. So then we believe them. But if he testified that it was, he testifies that it was actually less than what's signed, than what's written in the document. He's actually clashing with the two witnesses in the document, and that he cannot do. So I'm sorry for this being so choppy, but you see how tired I am. But a pocheses ksuvasa is different than a pogemes ksuvasa. Pogemes ksuvasa is much worse. No, poches is much worse. Because pogemes, she doesn't deny, the Gemara is saying, there's no denial of the amount of what the transaction is. The question is whether she paid back something in the meantime. So there's no contradiction of the two witnesses. Could be the two witnesses when they testify in this document that so much was owed. In the meantime, there was some payments. So therefore what's owed is less. So it isn't contradicting two witnesses. But a case where you have a pocheses, so then she's claiming that the ksuva itself, l'chatchila, was less. Or, he's claiming that. So in that case, it's accusing the witnesses who signed the document of an outright lie. Right? So that's much more serious accusation. So in that case, in the case of pocheses, pocheses ksuvasa, she's not going to be believed at all. Pogemes ksuvasa will be believed with a shvuah. Pocheses ksuva won't be believed at all. Pogemes will be believed with a shvuah because it's not going against the two witnesses. Pocheses won't be believed because it's going against the two witnesses which are signed on the document. Okay? So that's what he says. Tani learns by Lugir Mishpat now. Bani Frash lo b'fanav, if she collects not in front of the debtor, right, not in front of her husband or deceased husband's heir. So, she's got to take an oath. From do we collect from a person if he's not around? Said there are cases, maybe where there's interest being charged, based in Goyim Ribis. So it says more actually, it's a question. I understand, why do they account? Basin doesn't collect on the honey. Doesn't collect the interest. So it says more, we're talking about a case where Basin doesn't allow the interest per se to be collected, but it happens to be that there's somebody involved here as a goy, which makes the document work for Ribis, guarantor literally. So therefore, Basin will pay up quickly from the property in order to avoid, or allow the payment for the property in order to avoid these subsequent ribbis. Okay? Vatani, and then we learned our bride said, Yorish Pagam Aviv, Shtarchov. This is a separate issue. We learned that an heir whose father had claimed that the shtar which he has outstanding is worth less. Haben Gove below shvur. The father collects. He doesn't have to take the same shvur that the father took. This the son is superior to the father. Shav eno Gove below shvur. A father can only collect when he's pogam with a shvur. Whereas the son collects even without a shvur. Amr Blazer says, "V'nishba yira yishvur tzirash." You know what? He's not off so called together. Gotta take the shvur of an heir. What's the shvur of an heir? Shlo piktanu abba. Father did not command us anything. Shlo marlon abba didn't say anything to us. V'shlo matzir shtar ben shos shab. We didn't see any document of our father's documents. Shtar is a proof which indicate that this document is redeemed. It needs a proof. If it would have been found redeemed, obviously, so then the whole thing would be null and void. Yoshi boy Ramesh asks, Masisa Ramesh Shama is our Mishnah Ramesh Shama no los ksuva below shoy. So you take the ksuva and do not drink. So here too. It says here by soite can be Michael. So in Michael soite get the ksuva and you don't drink, right? So the chora that there's mechila and it's like Beis Shammai. So it says the Gemara. Then we also said town the Beis Shammai. The Shammai says over there by soite. The reason why she's able to hook and gets paid ksuva to Buddha is haveli ishti, because she says. So she says, I'll give him my husband, and he shows, so I'll drink. But here, here would be, the logic should be that even the father does not take a shvur where he's poging a document. Takona tiknu bo, nevertheless they made a takona. They should take an oath. We've no lo tiknu. But by the son, they didn't make a takona of an oath. Became a chemes and matas beno al din Torah, because once he died, he put his son on the din Torah, and therefore the son does not inherit any necessity to make a shvur. However, the basin already pronounced that the father is chayav to take a shvur. Umeis he died, ein beno gove. The son does not collect unless, in that case, the son must take a shvur. There's more at the locate mano amrin. And he can't take a shvur actually, so he can't collect. So it says more, he said, obvious locate mano, what else? He said, yeshna mar shvur, so no, can somebody bequeath the shvur to his son? Rabbi Abba Rabbi said, Hochin Samris, this is what it means to say. Pagam b'vishtar bebeistin, Umeis, if somebody damages a star, questions the amount, how much is paid back, and he dies, ain't a guy if he doesn't collect. Chista asks, begin the halachtatim pesian who mafsid. I understand, just because this guy went to, I'm sorry, I skipped 2 lines. Amrai Bar Abbas said, this is the way we would learn. With the father, there can't be morish shvur to his kid. Can't take a shvur. His father's chayav shvur. But the way his pagam b'avishtar basin, his father had already cast aspersions on his own document of basin, and Mason he died. Ain't no go, but the son does not collect. Doesn't matter why. It's not fair to the son. Rav Chisda boy begin the all tatim see just because the father went 2 steps of basin. Umafsi, the kid loses out. He will come up, puts a chutzah basin, where the father to have questionability to start outside basin. Atmar goiva, you would say the son still collects the time he promised. Nation poga basin, because he questioned the validity of doctrine basin. Atmar no goiva, he doesn't collect anymore. It's not fair. Why should not collect? So therefore, he says if the son is poking, if the father is poking the star, he wants to say no matter where the father is poking the star, question is if it's validity in or outside a basin, the sun can still collect. Okay, let's just go a little bit further because next one is very easy and I always wake up a little bit at the end. Ben Sor Amor Nito Now Shum Soifo. Tomorrow will be better. Ben Sor Amor, even though tomorrow's Thursday night, but I'll be less tired, I hope. Ben Sor Amor Nito Shem So Ben Sor Amor is judged based on his end. Amar Taratar said Yom Musakai may die meritorious, Vayim Muschai may not die liable. Shemisoshin Sharishoim, the death of Rishoim Anoilem and Anoilem is a pleasure for them, pleasure for the world. Utzadikim, death of tzadikim is ralim, is bad for them, v'ralim is bad for the world. V'shein Rishoim, plusly for the evildoers, Anoilem v'Anoilem. That's why I fall asleep so much at night. It's good for the world if I fall asleep. Tzadikim ralim, v'ralim, if tzadikim sleep, it's bad for them and bad for the world. Pizu Rishoim, scattering for Rishoim is Anoilem, is pleasure for them, Anoilem, and pleasure for the world. Because they sin less and they cause less trouble. Tzadikim for tzadikim, ralim, it's bad for them and bad for the world. Kills Rishoim in gathering for Rishoim, it's ralim, it's bad for them, bad for the world. Tzadikim for the tzadikim, anoilem, it's good for them and good for the world. Shekel Rishoim, tranquility, it literally means silence for Rishoim. Ralim, it's bad for them, ralim, it's bad for the world. Tzadikim for the tzadikim, anoilem, it's good for them, anoilem. Okay, tranquility for them is good. Good. Tzavakash Baruch Hashem perceive. Shesov said at the end of this Ben Saramur will be Asi Legamer Nichseyav is going to complete his father's property, Vatsuchseimo and his mother's property, and V'yeshlo Pashas Drachim is going to sit at a crossroads, and Mekaper Zabrielsin is going to steal from the creatures, and kill people, and the worst thing is, for Sofer Shalcher, someone is going to forget his learning to boot. For it's male if you rob and kill, but you still learn Torah. But if you don't learn Torah, after all is said and done, that's the worst possible thing. So actually the Mashbiach changes that. The Mashbiach puts the Sofer Shalcher Tamudo before the Yoshua Parshas Drachim. So it's earlier on in the scale of erosion. But I like the way the Gemara reads like this better. It's cuter, right?
A lot of people practice that today.
Oh, yeah. So it's okay as long as you're still learning. What? It's Talmud. It's not about me. No, it's not about me. But Torah says Yomus. I think it's in the Sifri or whatever it's called on the board. The Torah says Yomus Zakav Yomus Chayv. Let him die meritorious before it's still ahead, not when he gets behind. Should be Sashin Rishoyim Anoilem. Said the Mishnah there, the death of Rishoyim is good for them and good for the world. The tzadikim, the tzadikim Ralem is bad for them, Ralem and bad for the world. Yain, wine, Mishena, and sleep. Rishoyim Anoilem, for Rishoyim it's pleasure for them, Anoilem better pleasure for the world. Tzadikim for the tzadikim Ralem, it's bad, Ralem. Alright, Rabbi say, you know what? Even tzadikim can drink a little bit. So obviously he was a chassid Rabbi, right? It's only if you drink wine and then sleep a lot. That's bad. But wine and not so much sleep is okay because then it's good. It gives a lot of bit of gives his slivus, right? The tzaddikim they drink and then they only sleep a little bit and they should die to Mishavas in order that they should be able to be in proper frame of mind. So in a chanami, for them it's good to drink if they keep drink down and don't have to sleep so much, because really not the drink which is bad, but the sleep which is bad. And if they can drink a little bit and sleep a little bit, then they're okay. Okay. Kima is a little bit. It's not kameya. Kima means a little bit. Kima is ktsat in Aramaic.